within my theory, I don't violate any theory that doesn't say that consciousness and the brain are the same thing, because you're not dead. You haven't reached that point yet. You're existing still in life. You're still within a breathing body, even if it's lying in a roadside.
So if you think you're alive, you are alive?
Yes, as far as I'm aware. But that, again, is more work needs to be done. But yeah, if you're thinking, we can prove, or we can attempt to see if there's evidence for the daemon, and I think there's sufficient neurological information to probably make some kind of ideas on that. Is there life after death, the it lad cheating the ferryman, I'd be delighted that we could find some way of proving elements of that.
But people have tried to do that with things like table tapping and clairvoyance.
But this is life after death, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
And
But that would then imply that you don't live your life again instantly, you know, as it were.
Yeah, but in fairness, you know, a lot of people bring up reincarnation and say, does your theory invalidate reincarnation?
Well, no, it does, doesn't it?
Well, it does and it doesn't. It does in the sense that...
It's having your cake and eat it.
Well,
yeah, bringing cake and eat it too, isn't it?
But effectively, if you ultimately do die, after you've lived it over and over again, you could reincarnate.
As something
you might
else.
be as something else. But remember, in objective time, or whatever time is, you live all these lives in literally a split second as you're dying. Yes. So for an observer, it's just a split second and then you die. Okay. And you could then move on. I don't know. And that I can't, because there's no science on that.
If your daemon can control... I've got to read you this because I think this is really funny, and it could be that the daemon of this person is controlling something here, because I've had two texts. One both from the same person, Brenda in Hull, and she's just said rubbish. And then two texts later, she comes back and she says, the sound's gone. So her daemon has turned the sound off. Because you just don't want to hear this, but perhaps you can hear it now, and I hope you can.
She is completely entitled to her opinion.
Absolutely.
And it's very important she has her opinion.
Okay. Well, one of the things that occurred to me, and I did have a question a bit like this earlier, was, you know, humans have got this split brain, haven't we? Do other animals have split brains?
They do.
And therefore, does, say, a dog have a doggy eidolon that kind of knows about its doggy life and helps it a bit?
It maybe? Could be. Dogs do dream, because we know dogs dream from
they have rapid eye
movements and everything else, and them yelping and things when they're seeing things in the mind's eye. It's whether, and it's a big issue, is to whether a dog is self-aware conscious or not. And I think that probably is the point, as to whether a dog is self-aware of itself as a being that has a past and a future and motivations.
Well, there are some apes that can recognise themselves in mirrors and understand that a mirror is an image of themselves.
Yes, the higher primates will.
And there's recently I read, just this week actually, about an ape somewhere in a zoo that likes to throw stones at visitors.
Yeah, it was in 14 times, wasn't it?
It was, wasn't it? And it makes piles of stones. When the visitors have gone home, it plans for the future. It
plans for the future.
It picks up stones, makes a hidden pile, a little secret pile that the keepers aren't supposed to know where it is.
Yes.
And then when the visitors come back, it throws stones at them.
So there's a possibility. I mean, for instance,
it hasn't learned to throw overarm yet, so they're...
Yeah, that's right, so it's not dangerous, is it? But for instance, the early experiments on split brain were done with cats. And the cats that they did various experiments, and it affected the cats in similar ways. But of course, you can't talk to a cat to say how it's feeling.
But cats only have 9 lives, so they don't come back more than that.
Effectively, they do, yeah.
So you think it's possible then that
it is possible.
And I suppose also, if we're living the same life again and again, then perhaps we need the same cat or dog or... Yeah,
we might do. You know, effectively, you know, animals, we do get very, very close to animals in different ways. And again, you know, it's the big argument in zoology and everything else is, you know, as I said, are animals conscious, or how far does consciousness go down?